Okay, hope you can hear me. A very good Monday to you, very good Monday night to you. Today's topic will be on looking into the winning new launches. Last week, we talked about, I talked about the misses. So this week, I'll be doing a bit of the contrast. I'll be doing some detailed comparisons uh, between these losers and the winners today. All right, and of course, we'll be touching on different segments. So it can be from the outskirts all the way to the luxury market side, and also for different kinds of properties. And through the process, there will be some learning pointers that I'll bring across just to reinforce this whole sharing. Because ultimately, we are looking this based on hindsight, based on what has already been done. So what we want to do is taking this and then look how we can apply it looking forward. All right. So without further ado, yeah, let me start. All right. Okay, the same disclaimer. So if you have any questions pertaining to your situation, everybody's unique. Please feel free to reach out to me. Okay. This is quite generic in terms of the sharing, although it really applies to a lot of aspects, to a lot of things. Okay, first up, I'll be talking about Tembusu. It is a freehold property, so this is a good example of a freehold property. Tembusu TOP probably around 3 to 4 years ago. Okay, later I'll show you the location, but just have a quick look at this profitability chart. You can see there's quite a lot of profitable transactions. 20 transactions over here as compared to the unprofitable one at 3 transactions. But it's a good point to note that usually when you're buying into freehold properties, especially the new launches, you know that there's some premium already in place for all these freehold properties. So it is actually quite hard to get to register profit, to sell it as a realized profit on the resale market within 3-4 years. Okay, so it's really not easy to find. This is one of the rare finds. Usually freehold properties, even on the resale market, if you're looking for freehold properties, usually my advice is having a longer term horizon for your holding. So where is it located at? If you are staying in the northeast area, this should be very familiar with you. If you're not that familiar, it is still reasonably near to the Kovan MRT station. This is the property itself. I would say it's still walkable. And then this is the market and the Heartland Mall area. Okay, so when I look into it, I think it is quite obvious at this point of time. I mentioned quite a lot last week about properties. Typically, you want something that is of a bigger land size, and this is being done over here. Tembusu have that is over 100,000 square feet. That is a good gauge of the size. Of course, together with the land size, it will comes with a reasonable number of units. At 300 plus units, I think this is a sweet number. The reason is, of course, you don't want it to be too low that it affects the transaction volumes, right? And having too low a number also, it increases your maintenance costs because it's being shared by lesser people. But you don't need to be too many also, because it can be too mass market. You might want to buy this as a freehold property, paying the premium. You want to have a bit of privacy. So this number is quite a sweet spot. I think they got it right over here. They're able to get this piece of land. Wing Tai is a developer. Wing Tai, you know, they built fantastic development. So probably the developer has a role to play in this development also. So this piece of land used to be where their factory is, if I'm not wrong. So they decided to it was zoned as residential eventually, and then they decided to sell residential unit there. Okay, but if you look at the price trend, something very interesting to look at is the prices wasn't that cheap to begin with. If you know back then in the 2013-2014 period, somewhere in the northeast area, a per square foot average, if they're buying into it around 1,000, 5,006 in this area, I can tell you it's very expensive, right? So usually when all the profitable transaction is always about entry price being very correct. There's some value in it, low profit margin for the developer. But in this case, not really. The pricing, it's not the best pricing to enter in. But yet it is still able to register this kind of profit and hold the prices very well. You can see the prices hold very well and it went up. So the land size, number of units, these are all the pointers to take note of. Beside that, it will be the layout. I think generally when you have this kind of units, the number of units over there, the land size, you can build very good size, good layouts, and this is what is being depicted over here. A studio, 1 bedroom at 474. This is a good typical size. A 2 bedroom at 750 square feet is quite a luxury in today's market, but I think it is a very good size in that area whereby maybe some young families would want to stay. You can see that they even provide a very long and deep enclosed kitchen. Okay, so I think the layout here really makes sense. 3 bedroom at 1044 square feet. I think this is quite typical. Everything is there. Probably the bedrooms are just not big enough. The common bedrooms, you can see, cannot really put a queen size bed. But other than that, I think the floor plans itself, they are quite nicely designed. And besides that, I would say the developmental attributes. I stress that a lot because in the resale market, people are not buying from the show flat. The first impression when they enter the condo, they go into the driveway, they look at the facade, the landscaping, the facilities, the grounds. These are what is very important, right? And I think Tembusu, they did it very well. The developer did it very well because the buyers are also paying a premium for it. So it comes together with this very nice design. As the name suggests, Tembusu is the name of a rainforest tree. So what they want to create over here, I guess, it is as though you're living in a rainforest. They even cater a tennis court, you can see over here, and a lot of pools, sky gardens with many greeneries and connecting sky gardens, in fact, between the towers. What I understand also, these streams over here, some of it, they are the streams, they are the ponds, they create a misty effect in the morning, as though you're really living in the rainforest. So that's something very interesting. And I think if you're paying a premium for it, it must have the element of quality. And I think they did it right over here. So that explains. So, okay, so this is for Tembusu, a freehold property that I think the buyers got it right for this one. The next one will be Botanic at Bartley. So Botanic at Bartley is, this one I'm doing over here would be a representation of a dual key, triple key you talked about last week. That wasn't so good. So today I'm showcasing Botanic at Bartley because I feel that it's a good representation of such kind of units that did well. Okay, you can look at the profitable transactions. There are 67 transactions as compared to 0 unprofitable transactions. And this Botanic at Bartley just TOP last year. So I mean, properties in the last 5 years up to 10 years when there's a lot of naysayers saying that the property market has peaked, but not really. As you follow me through my presentation today, you realize that, hey, there's actually a lot of good gems, even in a very mature and developed economy and market like Singapore. So very good transactions. You can look at that, quite a lot of profit over here. So where is this located at? Bartley, as the name suggests, next to the Bartley station. There are 3 main condos over here. So beside Botanic, you have the Bartley Residences. Bartley Residences is a bit blur. Don't is it a bit blur? But Bartley Residences over here and Bartley Ridge. Actually, they probably TOP maybe 2 to 3 years before Botanic at Bartley. Actually, all of them also make money. I just stress out Botanic at Bartley because of the layout and also because they have 0 unprofitable transactions. Okay, and they're able to register a good amount of profit in a short amount of time. So this is quite remarkable. This is the RCR region, the 797 units, very typical of this mass market condos, but in a better location and a huge land size of over 200,000 square feet. Okay, so the difference over here, you realize as compared to before the layout, compared to Live on Wilkie, Live on Sophia, is I think this is a good development to begin with. a good size development with facilities. Because when you're doing dual key, triple key, right? Mainly these are for tenants, and these tenants want to have good facilities in the condo. And of course, the accessibility around now. This is still walking distance to the Bartley station and very central to Singapore. So this one they already win already, right? Because they have the facilities, the landscaping, very nice grounds to begin with. Then it follows up with the layout. I talk a lot of the rigidity of the Live on UK and Live on Sophia layout, but you take a look at the 2-bedroom dual key layout of Botanic and Bartley. Okay, Botanic and Bartley, in fact, all the 2-bed, 2-bath are of this flexi design. And I think they design it very, very nicely. The idea of flexi means it can be used as a dual key, or it can just be used as a 2-bedroom, 2-bath. And this flexibility is what makes this project very, very unique. You can see this layout right now. It gives you the dual key because there's a main door over here, and then there's 2 entrances over here. This will be the central foyer, right? And then there'll be this wall over here that separates this studio and a 2-bedroom unit over here. Okay. So the developer actually gave the buyer the flexibility of whether they want it to have whether they want it to be a dual key unit on TOP or without the walls, without the door, just as a 2-bedroom, 2-bath. Okay, and it fits both very well. You can do it anytime throughout your stay or throughout your holding period. Even as a 2-bedroom, 2-bath, the layout is so efficient. Can you see it's a dumbbell layout? The bedrooms are at either side. So as a dumbbell layout, in today's market, it's used quite frequently because it's a very efficient use of space. You realize there's essentially no walkway because the walkway is incorporated into the dining space and living space over here. Okay, and it still provides this unit with an enclosed kitchen. So this is what I mean by having a very, very good layout. And I think owners, buyers, even future buyers would love this kind. Same with the 3-bedroom flexi unit. This 3-bedroom flexi unit is even more incredible. You can see from here, there's 2 main entrances, 1 and 2. So in fact, when you buy this entire unit, all you have to do is just lock this door over here. You just pass the key to your tenant for this bedroom 3, which is a studio unit, and just rent it out. You don't even need to come in through a central foyer. That means you don't even have that wasted space. You take a look at this. There's this wasted space over here. If you say it's a central foyer that gives the separation, you don't even have that in this 3-bedroom flexi unit. So it's very, very nicely designed. You can maintain it as a very nice, luxurious 1,130 square feet 3-bedroom unit by having this studio unit as the master bedroom, and then this master bedroom as the junior master, also possible. Right? So it creates a tons of flexibility, and this, I can tell you, the layout is what wins for Botanic and Bartley. Okay, I saw a couple of units over here. It's very, very lovely. And the renter, when you're looking at the renter, it's good to know what are the renters that are fetching. So the 1,001 to 1,002, the rent will be all these units. How you see the dual key units is quite obvious. The 1,000 plus one, the 1,000 plus one will be the studio unit, right? Then you got your 2,000 plus one, 2,000 plus one, 2,000 plus one. I think this will be the other half of the 3-bedroom, the 2-bedroom side. So if you add it up, let's say we take this one, 1,009 and 2,006, it gives you a rental of 4,005 for the entire unit. You're able to achieve this. These are all transacted already. So see here, 4,005. 4,500 you multiply by 12, it will be 54K. 54K, I think the latest transacted, not the price that they bought. That means they already made a profit. It's around 1.5 million. So I'm giving the market price. Don't always use the price that you bought before, because it's not the updated price. You divide it by 1.5 million, having a calculator here. a rental yield of 3.6%. Remember, okay, it doesn't look like that. It doesn't look very wow as a dual key unit because some can give you 4%, but 3.6% for this location and for a 3-bedroom at 1,100 square feet, it is very rare. Okay, so that is my point. I think it's quite obvious why Botanic and Bali, if given a choice, these are some of the pointers to take note of if you're wanting to buy a dual key, triple key unit purely for rental. Try to factor in that flexibility, look at the layout, look at the facilities, things like that. Okay. Moving on to another segment that I want to bring up, this High Park Residences as an example. I think this is used quite frequently online and a lot of agents. The pure fact it's because there's tons of profitable transactions and this happened within the last 3 years. Okay, look at it, 189 transactions, 189 profitable transactions, 0 unprofitable. I would say this is an example of the very, very mass market area, the OCR location, and it's about buying the cheapest. So I think obviously over here, the winning formula will be the entry price. Okay, you can see most of the units over here are entered at between 800 to 1,001 per square feet. Wow, that is quite a good deal, right? 800 to 1,001 per square feet. And then all the way, all these are, I believe, are the resale transactions that are doing around 1,002 because of Park Botania that established the price over there. But you can see even here, a latest transaction in September 2020. During this pandemic, I ranked the profit based on the highest profit. It registered the highest profit. So it shows really that this product works because the seller, the seller is able to sell his unit during this time and register the highest amount of profit, 535,000. He bought at 847 per square feet at this area of let's say 1,399 square feet. Let's see what's the price he bought. 1,399 square feet times 847. So the price he bought is 1,184. So at that time, the down payment is only 20%. So 20% down payment, it's 236K. Okay, haven't count buyer's stamp duty, all this thing. Buyer's stamp duty then is also only at 3%. They don't have the 4% yet. Okay, so just take gross profit. Your gross ROI, return on capital, return on investment, 535. 535 versus above. Can you see? Yeah, almost making I think it's 200%. I think minus off the rest, maybe 180. Almost 2 times the amount of cash that you put in. I think this is one of the best investment, and yet people also say that during this time, property cannot buy. So we really have to open our eyes to look out for what are some of these deals in the market. Okay, so besides the price, let's look at the location. Okay, the location, this one is in the Seletar area. If you know, Seletar is upwards over here. This is towards the west of Sengkang, at the Fernview side. And not many condos over there in one of the biggest condo. I circled the 2 other condos, Riverbank and River Trees. Yeah, also because they were selling at that point of time. I just want to track the transaction trends when they were all launched for sale back then. And I also circled Large Acres as the EC, just to understand the market, right? To further look into this area and to understand the market. But this area, I think to begin with, it is quite, it's not really that developed, right? As compared to the Sengkang, Punggol and Hougang side. In fact, if you tell people to look at this area, Jalan Kayu, next to Jalan Kayu, people just talk about the prata, and probably they wouldn't, the first impression wouldn't be very familiar with this location, right? So let's see all the transaction prices when I put them together. Okay, so the purple one, you can look at the top one. This purple is the River Tree. Just to orientate you a bit. Then you have Riverbank over here. Large Acres will be below. Large Acres is an EC. And then this here will be High Park. Okay, so it's good to know when Hypark was launched at that time, River Trade Riverbank was already selling. Okay, all these property make money. Actually, they are quite close to each other, maybe 2-3 years of sale. All these property make money, just that Hypark make a lot more, and there's many transactions, the profitable transaction. That's why I highlighted it now. But it was launched at a time whereby River Trade Riverbank was also selling. So this is quite a learning point for us, is in the sense that if you know that this project that's on the market is selling at cheaper or the same price at the previous at a current launch that was launched previously, it might make sense because it is usually the later launches will be more expensive. So if it's selling at the same price or even cheaper, it is a good signal for the entry price. And at the same time, the price is also being defended by the next segment of large acres, which is the EC segment. So if the large acres are all transacted at around the 800 per square foot basis, if you can get something at Hypark at around less than 1,000 PSF, it makes a lot of sense, right? Isn't it? Because you know that your worst case scenario is super duper unlikely for prices, if you're going to make a loss, to drop below large acres. Because this is what people are buying as a subsidized EC already. So that forms the minimum, the floor of the pricing, or defense. And this defense is very clear. So this is a learning pointer in today's context to understand where the EC market is, what is the prices of the EC market, and what is the cheapest normal private launch out there. And that's the reason probably why I think developments like Treasures at Tampines is doing very well. Okay, which I'm also advocating, because you must understand how all these prices work. But I know at the back of your head, you might be thinking, hey, it's easy to look in hindsight, right? Because let's say if you're at this point of time, for example, I'm trying to be very complete with my analysis. Before Hypark is launched, if you're looking at the 1-4 period when River Trade and Riverbank is on the market, would you wait for Hypark residences? But you don't know, right? I don't know at that point of time whether the land has already been sold, because the land was sold at a cheaper price, just now reflected over here, 400. But I don't know whether it's being was already launched then. But at that point of time, actually, just based on large acres, if these prices are around the 1,000 to 1,001 mark, it also actually makes sense, right? Because you know the floor, the price gap is very little. If the price gap is a lot, then probably it shows that it is a bit too expensive. But if the price gap between the EC segment and the cheapest new private resale over there is around 200 PSF, then I think it makes sense in terms of the pricing, which eventually it makes sense. But at the same time, although land price is a good indication as a good indication of what the selling price is in the future, but it can never be taken as an absolute things to consider. Why do I say so? Because even if, let's say, you know that Hypark, the land, when you're buying River Trade and Riverbank, you know that Hypark, the land is only being sold for 400 plus PSF, which is so much lower than the 533 per square foot of River Tree land. You'll be thinking, should I wait? There's a lot of uncertainty, so don't take it as absolute. It's a good indication, but what the developers bought the land for, they may not, although they buy it cheap, they may not sell it cheap. It's the same understanding like you bought your HDB. If your parents bought a HDB for 100 or 200K 20, 30 years ago, and the market price is 600K now, they wouldn't sell at 400 or 500K, right? They will still want to sell at the market price. So if the market really recover in 1 to 2 years time, Hypark Residences, the developer might be, if the developer is a very strong, proud developer, they might want to sell it much more expensive. So there's some uncertainty. So what I'm saying is you just have to look at the facts in front of you. In the future, there's always a lot of there's a lot of uncertainty in that sense. But just look at the facts in front of you, and that facts alone can help you make a very good decision. It's not that I'm just looking at this and saying I'm analyzing this based on hindsight. I hope you understand what I'm saying. All right. Okay, next up will be the Crest. Wow, I almost done with it. I'm actually in the middle of it. Okay, hope you stay with me. This is the Crest. The Crest, last week I covered it. I showed you some unprofitable transaction, but just next to it is Principal Garden, which registered all profitable transactions. Right? Why is that so? They're just next to each other. Let's take a look at it. In fact, on the map, you realize that Principal Garden is further away from the MRT station as compared to the Crest. It's much further away. Anyway, they are both side by side. The land size is almost the same. The units is almost the same. So when I look into it, I realize I talk about the floor plans, the layout. So the layout really matters. It's one thing about building unique, fanciful developments with renowned architect, but I think in the Asian Singapore context, it's a lot of emphasis is being put into practicality. So you look at all these spaces and balconies at a weird angle. I don't know if it will be used that much. And a 4-bedroom at 1,007 square feet, this amount of space, right? And the living dining at 1,007 square feet is still the kind of narrow balcony, and just a lot of walking areas, things like that. Even the 3-bedroom kitchen at 1,250 square feet, it is a very small kitchen. Okay, so you compare with Principal Garden, there are different layouts. I just want to emphasize, but I took the layout that compares. That one is 1,250. This 3-bedroom is 1,238. This is the premium 3-bedroom that has a private lift. But you look at this layout, you feel already so much better just by looking at it. It is what I call just 四四方方，很整齐, right? It very neat, regular in shape. Good size kitchen, wide frontage living, good bedroom size, not much wasted space, just this short walking area. The 4 bedrooms also, the dry and wet kitchen, very nicely placed. So this is what I meant by having a good layout. And of course, beside that, Principal Garden, I think if you go over there right now, as a resale buyer, I think you'll love the space. I've been there a couple of times. This is one of the lawn that the blocks over, units overlook. That kind of vastness of space. So the developer, instead of building more units, they cater this kind of landscaping. And right in front is the clubhouse itself. So you can imagine that kind of feel as a buyer. You really fall in love at first sight. Okay, so developmental attributes is so important. Not to say Crest is no good, but Principal Garden, because it has less building footprint. The Crest, you have your villa, you have your tower block, so there's small footprints over there that take up a lot of space. And the other thing will be the pricing, the entry pricing. Very obviously, you look at the Crest and Principal Garden, their land price is around the same. Never put it over here. I think it's around 700 to 800 or 800 plus. But the land price is around the same. The pricing, Crest started launching first, but they price it at a premium product at 1,008. I think they didn't get the pricing right at that time because of the big unit size also. So it makes it quite unaffordable in that sense. But Principal Garden is able, UL standard is always to start off low to reward the first few people that come in and then slowly increase price. You can see the blue trend here, very nice uptrend. Okay, although there's a lot of transactions over here for the Crest, just want to take note when you look at data like this, you must understand how it's being done. This one doesn't show you whether it's a first purchase or second purchase, it all lumped together. So these one are actually all sales by the developer because the market, of course, the market caught up over there, but these are developer sales. So it means that all these are still first timer that bought it at 2,000 per square feet. But for Principal Garden, all these blue one over here, they are the second timers. Okay, maybe over here. They already registered profit. Okay, next one, I'll follow up with Sky Habitat and Skyview. So these are the RCR location. Just now I talked about Hyde Park, the OCR location. This one will be the RCR, will be the rest of core, the in between the core and the outskirt. Okay, so Sky Habitat I showed you last week. There's some amount, there's more than 50% are unprofitable transaction. But when you look into Skyview, which is just next to each other, which is just next to it, there's so many more profitable transactions, only one unprofitable transaction. So why is that? So in fact, this one is a very, very good comparison because they are next to each other. Beside that, they are the same developer, CapitaLand, almost the same land size, almost the same. Skyview got more units and they TOP like 1 year after the other. Okay, so they have all the similar raw elements. Okay, so this is a classic example in terms of pricing. So Sky Habitat was, when it first launched for sale, I talked about this last week, it was priced slightly higher. I think they didn't catch the pricing right. Together with the bigger layout sizes, is again unaffordable. But Skyview, it started more reasonably, and then you can see it slowly going up in general. Take a look at the Sky Habitat floor plan. This one, I took the more typical unit. So there are still many more that have the huge terraces that I take it away. But even then, when you look at this, right, you see that the 1+ study, which is I think the smallest unit, I don't know why there's a need for a long walkway to a study when usually a study is just a corner space plus this long walkway. So although it's 710 square feet, I don't think it's a very efficient use of space. In fact, it's a very waste of space. The 2-bedroom is also quite similar. 2-bedroom, there is almost 900 square feet. Usually you can already put in an enclosed kitchen, which is very functionable and practical for agents. And you see UOL doing that quite often, even for 700+ square feet unit. But over here, you got your long walkway, a very small open kitchen, but a huge balcony that spans through 2 bedrooms. I don't understand what is it for, but this is the layout. And you compare the small unit for Skyview. I have a unit that's currently on rent for Skyview, 1-bedroom, 484 square feet, but don't have any balconies. Everything is usable space. It's a square, essentially. You can see how efficient, even the bathroom, there's 2 entrances, so it's very practical. You can see the difference between this and the 1+ study for the Sky Habitat. All right, and this is 484, that means you're saving 200 square feet of money. If it's 1,005, it is 300K. So that's a lot of money. And look at the 2-bedroom, there's almost 800 square feet. I feel it's more efficient. You see there's an enclosed kitchen. Probably the only thing is the bedrooms, the common bedroom is not big enough for queen size bed. I know this is one of the main concerns for the Skyview 2 bedrooms. But other than that, I feel the smaller units, the Skyviews is winning. But for the bigger, so when you're looking at between these two, you have to understand the unit mix. Skyview, you don't have 4 bedrooms. So when you're looking at the 4-bedroom and above, and even a 3-bedroom, I think the 3-bedroom over here, Sky Habitat, is quite nicely designed. It's very, very spacious at 1,200 square feet. The balcony is, I think, it's all right as long as you don't choose the very large one with the open terrace. So probably the bigger one, if you're buying for own stay, you want to, it's more of a lifestyle thing, then maybe Sky Habitat is something to look at, even a 4-bedroom. Okay, so you have to understand the mix over here. But in general, you can see that Skyview, it's more practical. That's the reason I feel that the transactions, the profitable transactions reflect that. Okay, last one would be more of the, I want to touch on the luxury segment. I cover on probably all the segment already. So Liden Residence is an example of a luxury segment. Okay, the luxury segment, I think most of you all should know that it didn't do very well in the last 5 to 10 years. So to find a profitable development is quite rare in that sense. Most of the developments actually lose money. You know, Sentosa is losing a lot of money. Those in the District 9 and Regis residences, all these, they're also losing money. Okay, so Liden Residences is one of the odd one out. When looking at it, you can see that the profit that's being made, some even up to 2.4 million over here. Some unprofitable transaction, but beside the 1 million, the rest are quite negligible as compared to the sum over there here. So where is it located? When you look into it, I find that the developer Guacoland actually did it very well in terms of product placement. So you have to really understand the product and how can it be suited to the people, to the buyers that are likely going to buy, the target market. They've done it quite well in the District 10 area. The location of it, they got a good en bloc site, which is quite private as compared to Leedon Green, which is selling right now. You can see Leedon Green is bordered by these two main roads. Leedon Residence is inside. Okay, this gives that kind of quietness and kind of privacy that the buyers want. And Leedon Residence, as compared to Leedon, in this location, probably you have to be freehold because almost all the developments over here are freehold. And affluent people probably only want to buy freehold. Take note, this luxury segment is, they also didn't do it like the kind of luxury wannabe. They make it all the way to the top tier. It's something like your LV and Hermes, or even your just look at the unit size over here. 2,000 over square feet, even for a 3-bedroom. The smallest unit is 1044. This is a 2-bedroom unit. And they made profit over here. They sold at 2,300 per square feet. So the total price for a 2-bedroom is almost, I think it's around 2.4 million already. Okay, and easily the 3-4 bedroom with upwards of 5 million, 6 or even 7 million. And strangely enough, usually for this kind of products, we really don't talk about affordability, right? The contrast just now I talk a lot about affordability, but I think at this range, at the affluent range, the bigger the better, the more expensive the better, because probably for them, you'll be thinking if you're paying this kind of money, you can actually buy a bungalow, or you can buy a detached, semi-detached easily in this location. You want to have that kind of price because the price actually dictates your neighbors staying around. So that makes sense also in terms of the product placement over here. Okay. Also something to take note of. I never show, I think you can Google easily. It's a fantastic development. I've been there a few times. All the blocks are very nicely designed, and it's designed in such a way there's total privacy. You cannot really see inside at all. Okay, and very nicely designed. The amenities, the grounds, fantastic. Huge land size, you can look at that, man. Over 500,000 square feet of land. 381 units, freehold. And what draw my attention the most is the buyer profile. Take a look at this. 56% are Singaporeans, PR 20%, making 76% of what I call it the local demand, which is very rare for this segment. Usually, when you're looking in the D9, the luxury segment, I would say the Singaporean and PR adds up at most 50%. More foreigners are holding on to it and companies. And like I said, if Singaporeans are willing to buy this, it says a lot because they have many options in terms of lender. Why would they buy a condo? So this one probably dictates also how well the price hold and the profitable transactions, because usually foreigners, like when they're leaving the country in this pandemic or what, they'll be throwing the properties at a loss. But the fact that 76% are locals, I think the holding power is stronger, because in the mass market side, we know the Singaporeans and PR easily makes up more than 95%, 95 to 98%. Very, very little foreigners. So the nearer we go to here, the better price support in terms of the organic demand. Okay, so something to take note of in terms of the luxury market. If the more locals are buying to it, it's something that's very appealing to locals per se. It's something that's probably worth looking at it if you're at that level. Okay, so it comes to the end of my sharing today. Again, I hope you learned something. This is quite in-depth. I hope you've been following through my explanation. If you really learned something and you know someone out there is looking out for something, please feel free to like and share to them. And you also can follow my page for more of these updates. And because today I did a lot of comparison with the previous, with last week's sharing. So if you're a bit lost, please also go and take a look at last week's video. I think these two should be seen together. Okay, so what I'll be sharing next week is something more practical on the ground, more forward-looking in that sense. I'll be taking a closer look into Clavon. If you don't know about this, this is located in the Clementi area, the NUS high area. It's a new launch coming up at the towards the end of this month. This is something that based on my studies and my feel, my instincts, my data, that I think this is something worth looking at it. So I'll be going to do a bit more research into it, and I'll be showing you the findings. I don't know how much info I will be getting, because new launches like this, some of the info, it's not 100%. And that's the reason why sometimes I don't like to do very, very brand new launches, because of the uncertainty. But sometimes if it's worth looking at it, because of the data, because of the history, because of the developers, because of the pricing, the land price, and the estimated price guide, something to look at. Okay, so do follow my page, and it will be same time again next Monday. So with that, thank you. Thank you for staying with me, and I wish you a good week ahead. All right, see you.